a new film by the master of the psychological thriller, Dario Argento.
And I entered a painting. It was as if I was suddenly immersed in it. I know it sounds crazy.
What happened to you in the Uffizi is known as the Stendhal Syndrome.
Your gun, Assistant Inspector Manny.
The Stendhal Syndrome. The Stendhal Syndrome, a spine-chilling excursion into a world of unrestrained terror. The Stendhal Syndrome, written and directed by Dario Argento.
Hey everybody, this is Brandon Ford and welcome to the Blind Rage Podcast. As always, I'm happy to have James Garibay here with me. Say hi, James.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy to be back.
Always happy to have you. And we are doing another Dario Argento. This time it's the 1996. I think it's more of a cult classic. It doesn't really have the same following as, say, Trauma or Tenebrae, but I like it. James likes it, so we are doing the Stendhal Syndrome.
It's a bit of a trip.
It very much is, and I think that was the intention behind it. But before we get into the movie, I need to get the plugs out of the way because when I've been co-hosting, or having co-hosts rather, I tend to forget. And I forgot with the last recording that I did with you and the last recording that I did with Tony.
You're slacking, Brandon. You're slacking.
I get distracted. So yes, as always, please don't forget to check out my books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle editions. My most recent title in particular, He Wore a Leather Jacket. You can also find The Mystery of Kelly Christopher, Progressive Entrapment, Dreams of Sharp Teeth, and several others. If you prefer audiobooks, you can find me on audible.com or the Audible app by typing in Brandon Ford. You can follow me on Instagram if you don't already. I'm at writer Brandon Ford. I'm also on Twitter at Brandon Ford and on Letterboxd at Brandon Ford. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions for movies you'd like me and James to do commentaries for, feel free to email me directly at blindragepod81@gmail.com. And lastly, please do not forget to rate, review, and subscribe, especially rating. It only takes a few seconds just to hit a star rating. So 1, 2, 3, especially if you are listening on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, people, you can take a couple of seconds just to give a quick like or whatever.
I don't know if they do likes.
Close enough.
I'll take a like. I'll take whatever I can get. Beggars can't be choosy. Or as some people say, beggars can't be choosers. I never understood that. What do you say?
In my experience, they've always been picky. So that saying should go out the window.
Well, okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. So, yes, I have it in my head that because I listen to podcasts on Apple that everybody does, but I know that's not the case. There is Overcast and TuneUp and
Spotify.
Spotify and Google Play. So whichever platform you listen on, please give me a rating there or a review. I can't promise that I'll see it because I don't know if I get alerts if I get ratings or reviews elsewhere. I don't even get alerts if I get ratings on Apple.
Lame.
So I know. I use Anchor for my podcasting, and Anchor still has a ways to go as far as giving the podcasters all of the available or all of the necessary information. I don't even get notifications on plays on all of the platforms that my podcasts are on. So I could be getting thousands of plays on a certain platform and not know it.
Well then, sounds like you need an assistant.
I do. Is Lester free?
Always. He needs to start pulling his own weight around here.
He does. Break out his little puppy iPhone.
Exactly. Get on his reading glasses.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
So have you watched anything recently?
Not really, unfortunately. I've kind of been busy with work, and then I got those internships that I'm getting ready to start. But I have been starting to get more into my Dracula book, finally. I've had that for like 5 years. So I'm finally starting to make a little headway.
The original Dracula?
The original Dracula. It's... yeah. I mean, it's taken a little bit to get going, but I mean, that's the case with any book, all the introductory stuff. So I'm sure once I'm well into the meat of the story, it'll be a lot better. Not that it's bad, but you've got to get all the introductory stuff out of the way before you can get to the meat and bones of everything.
Well, it was written in the 17th century, so I wouldn't assume it will be a quick read.
No, it's like 400 pages, and I've barely scratched the surface. But I actually started reading it a couple years ago, but then I stopped, and so I just figured, why not just start over? So
I am embarrassed to admit it, especially being a horror author, but I've never read it.
Hey, no judgment here. As much as I enjoy horror, I haven't read it.
Well, I'm a horror author. This is like what is it? Necessary reading.
Yeah.
But I do have the audio book it's like a performance. It's got Alan Cumming and a bunch of other people on it.
That's cool.
I haven't cracked it yet though. Other than that, I haven't caught anything new. I just downloaded the audio described version of the new Conjuring movie.
Oh, yeah. I'm hearing kind of mixed things about that one.
Yeah, same here.
But I still want to check it out just because I've enjoyed the Conjuring stories of the whole Wandaverse thing.
I don't know if I've ever... If I even caught them all. I have no idea because so many of these movies in these franchises kind of blend together.
Yeah, and there's just so many branches. Like the only ones that I've truly enjoyed each segment of is The Conjuring. Like the first Annabelle was boring, I thought. The Annabelle Creation was entertaining. And the third one was just kind of meh. The Nun was lame. And The Curse of La Llorona would have been good had it been its own thing and not part of the whole James Waniverse. But again, my opinions. So, and I love Vera Farmiga. I think she's badass.
Are you moving your microphone around?
No.
You're moving something.
Sorry, I'm swiveling in my chair. Is it obvious? I
Oh,
apologize.
yes. Stop that.
I'm sorry.
That's what you've been doing. I've been hearing that in the background, and I thought it was your microphone.
Oh,
Jesus
goodness. I'm
Christ.
sorry.
What are you, a child? I gotta tell you to sit still?
Yes. I have the attention span of a 12-year-old.
Jesus.
I
Anyway,
get a kick out of fart jokes in movies. Come on, Brandon.
I also got the Friends reunion downloaded audio version, audio described version of it. I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Yeah.
But from what I hear about it, it's not really so much a reunion as a documentary about the show.
Yeah, that's what I kind of gathered from the previews I've seen. It's just them coming together and just reminiscing about everything. And
Yeah.
they may do like little gimmicks here and there.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
I thought, well, I haven't checked it out yet,
right,
but
you just said, sorry.
But when I heard that it was coming, I thought it was going to be like an episode, like a one-off episode, kind of like
Right.
they'd been doing with those,
With like all the reboots and stuff.
yeah, like with the Jeffersons and All in the Family and stuff. I thought it would be something like that, like a one-off special.
Where
type.
like you can catch up with all the characters and see what they're up to.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
Bring back Gunther. Wonder what the hell he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been fun, but I also do like the idea of kind of like, hey, here's where everybody's at in their real lives, But
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a fun idea for, all of us that grew up watching Friends and enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I for sure. I watched it from when it first started airing back in '94.
Was it 4? I thought it was 3. I thought it was 93.
No, it was,
It was
94 to 04.
Wow. Crazy. Yeah, I remember just like it was always around, but I was never an avid follower to like, get the story down. Like I knew what was kind of going on because everybody was talking about it. But it wasn't until like years later when they put it on Netflix that I actually sat down and watched it from beginning to end. So that was fun.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the episodes in the first season are so cheesy though. They don't hold up.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it got funnier as it went along because that's when everybody was like fully getting into their characters.
Yes. But I think the writing, especially in those early episodes, was pretty cheesy.
Mm-hmm. It was very like sitcom-y.
Yeah,
it was too gimmicky,
It was a show that really didn't know what it was
right
yet. Yeah. Or what the characters or the actors were capable of doing.
Indeed.
But so yeah, I've got that, and just before we started recording, I was revisiting the French dub of one of my favorite slasher movies, Skinner, which I would like to do another commentary. I did a commentary for it on my old podcast solo, but I would like to do another one. So perhaps you can check it out sometime.
Skinner, like Principal Skinner.
Oh, he's worse. And last night I revisited another one of my favorites, this one in English, Popcorn. So I haven't seen anything new. But I still have my Dario Argento collection coming.
Oh, that's right.
It hasn't come yet.
That's lame.
With, Cat o' Nine Tails, Inferno, and I think Deep Red. No, I haven't gotten it yet.
That sucks. You ordered that a while ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was.
because we talked about it last week. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you probably ordered it at least a few days before then, I assume.
Yeah.
Lame. Freaking
I've
Amazon.
been. Yeah. I've been. And I remember when I said that I was going to more than likely pre-order that 4K new reissue of Two Evil Eyes.
Yes.
I did.
I had no doubt.
So that comes out toward the end of August, and I also ordered Demons today, Argento's Demons, which I don't think I'd ever seen.
By the title alone, I want to watch it.
And there's Demons too. There was I hear somebody snoring.
Oh, it's Nala.
I had no doubts about that one. We know how she rolls.
Yes.
And it's usually on her back with her mouth open. But I was listening to another podcast that I listen to weekly, and they had dedicated an episode to Tenebrae, which is another movie that I hadn't seen, another Argento, and I'm interested in checking that one out. So,
is Dario Argento still alive?
He is.
Wow.
I don't think he's making any. He's 81.
Wow.
I don't think he's making anything anymore. I think his last movie was Dracula 3D, and I don't think it was very well received.
I don't think I saw that one.
Azia has been making movies that I don't know. I don't know if what she's doing now, but she was writing and directing her own stuff. So
that's cool. Kind of taken after her father.
Yeah. I guess she didn't know what she wanted to do at first because she's in the Stendhal Syndrome and she was in Trauma before that. So I guess she wasn't sure if she wanted to be an actress or what. But so yeah, she was, and then she had that scandal a couple years ago.
Ooh.
She got Me Too'd.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, yes and no. I mean, it was he was 17, so, and they were acting like they were having an illicit affair, and age of consent in Italy is 17.
Oh, so it wasn't anything.
So no, it was a scandal here,
right? By American standards. By American standards,
that she was having an affair with a much younger guy. But yeah, no. She didn't hurt anybody, so.
Yeah, seriously. Do people want to get it on? As long as
it's legal.
Yeah.
And they're both consenting.
Have at it.
Nobody gets hurt. Do whatever you want. So, but for now, I think we should get started on the Stendhal Syndrome.
I think so. We're totally going to get blasted for those sexual comments.
Probably. Or we would if anybody actually listened.
Right.
Okay, so this is the uncut version that is 2 hours, and it's from the Blue Underground Blu-ray DVD combo. And from what I was reading up on it, there was a 2-minute scene that was only available in Italy or in the Italian versions, but had always been cut from the American releases. So because of that, it's not dubbed in English. So there will be, because I'm watching the English dubbed version because I can't read subtitles, and I think James is doing the same. So yeah, when we get to that, there will be a 2-minute scene that's in Italian. So we probably won't know what's going on.
Yeah, it works for me.
But if you're watching with us, yes, so that is the version that we are watching. I don't know where to find it, but I'm sure you can find it. I don't know if this one's on Amazon Prime. Might be on Shudder. I think they have a good stock of Argento. So
Yeah, probably.
okay.
But without further ado,
Yes. Are you're all ready to go?
yes, sir.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. I love this opening score.
All right. I love that it just starts. You know, like no openings, credit sequences, you know, brought to you by, etc., etc. So and so presents. It's just boom. Let's get into it.
Listen to this. How beautiful this is.
Oh my goodness.
And I was reading too on IMDb that the composer wrote this melody so that it could be played backwards and forwards and it would sound the same.
Really?
That's pretty fucking intricate.
No shit. It's like the palindromes of music.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was possible to do that.
Me neither. And
But-
did the composer specifically wrote it for this movie?
Yes.
Wow.
I can't remember who the composer was. But he did, I think, opera, I want to say. He worked on one or two other Argento movies, but Argento usually works with Claudio Simonetti from Goblin.
Mhm.
He usually has like a metal score to his movies, or a metal soundtrack. But
Okay.
I think that would have been out of place with this movie.
Yeah, for the story that's kind of being told, especially where they're located, maybe just a
Yeah.
little.
Mm-hmm.
She's so pretty.
You think?
I think. I mean, she's just very. I mean, I always hate to, say these kinds of things, but she's just like very, pretty girl next door kind of thing.
I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while, and I can't see her now. But from what I remember, it was hard for me to find her attractive because I could see her father too much in her face.
Really.
Have you ever seen what Dario looks like?
A long time ago.
Not an attractive man
I
at all.
mean, she's unique looking, but I don't know.
She for sure has some of his features.
Yeah, she's got a long neck though.
But so when this first came out in America, it was released by Troma, this is not what you would expect a Troma movie, or what you would expect Troma to distribute.
Really?
I mean, because we're used to seeing like the Toxic Avenger and shit.
Right.
And their movies have a very eclectic style. Even the ones that they distribute, that are done by other producers. This one is odd. I think was odd for them to put out.
Why do you think that is? Just because it's not their style.
It's not
really.
It's their style is very over the top with gore and violence and camp. They don't. This is more in the lines, although there is some gore. I think it falls more in the lines of a thriller,
Yeah, absolutely.
or a mystery. So yeah, and while Trauma doesn't necessarily do horror exclusively, it's horror comedy. It's like it's stuff like, Space Zombie Bingo and fucking The Newly Deads and fucking what was that grandmother one? There's one about zombie grandmothers, and the title is escaping me.
Oh, Lord. Zombie grandmothers.
So yeah, and I talked about this on my Pink Flamingos commentary, but it's apropos now. John Waters wanted to do a sequel to Pink Flamingos, or he had written a sequel called Flamingos Forever, and that's why he was trying to get that made after Polyester. So that's why there's such a significant gap in between Polyester and Hairspray at 7 years, because he was writing Flamingos Forever, and then he was spending, I think, generally it usually takes him it took him, when he was making movies regularly, it took him 2 years to get everything off the ground.
Wow.
As far as production. But with Flamingos Forever, it was 4 years and he wasn't getting anywhere, and the only real offer that he got was from Troma. And he said in an interview that he was very close to signing a deal with them until he saw their editing suite. And he's like, oh, I don't know about this.
Not a good spot, or?
No, I think their equipment was probably out of date, and it just wasn't. I mean, if somebody who is used to cutting movies with a home splicer in his attic is saying, I don't know about this, when they take a look at the editing suite of a professional studio, it must have been really not good.
Yeah, seriously.
And
that's gotta speak volumes.
Yeah. And so since that wasn't getting off the ground, he gave up, and then Hairspray came along.
Hairspray. I haven't seen that one forever and a day. So that under the water fish sequence is just weird.
Yeah, and when we were talking about it before, I said that it was a real fish. It's not a real fish.
Okay, because the fish had teeth.
Yeah,
it's still just an interesting sequence. Like, have you? I mean, I know the Stendhal Syndrome is a real thing, but it's just, I'm wondering how much of that reaction was, accurate. It's like, does someone like fall and faint that way when
it varies. It
Okay.
varies. There are degrees of how you can be affected by it.
Like, some folks may just get a little dizzy or something.
Right. Yeah. Some people just get a little dizzy or lightheaded, or lose their orientation. For a moment. Some people are hospitalized.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
And I think one of the main things that fascinated Dario about the Stendhal Syndrome was that there was a hospital in Italy that had 2 beds open all the time, specifically for people with the Stendhal Syndrome.
Really?
So apparently it's more common, pretty common, especially in Florence, where the in this particular museum.
Where it's just nothing but wall to wall, beautiful art.
Mm-hmm.
That's so crazy.
And like he said, great works of art have great power.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
God, the blonde hair, the blue eyes, the foreign language. Ooh.
Oh, you're listening to the Italian?
Hmm?
You're listening to the Italian version?
No, I'm just kind of... Am I? I don't know.
Well, they're talking in English right now.
Oh.
At least in my version.
I think it's just very low.
You like Italian? The language?
Yeah, it's a nice language.
It's definitely very pretty.
I mean, I still want to speak German. I don't know why I like that language so much, but you know.
Yeah, that's one of the more aggressive ones.
It is. I think that's why I like it. But I can't wait to take my foreign language in school.
Well, take a page from my book and study the German dubs of Child's Play. I'm sure there are German versions on the discs.
Yeah, probably.
See, and especially, I think, especially since you know them so well, it'll definitely help you get a grasp on the language.
Yeah.
I wonder what German Chucky sounds like.
Oh, Lord.
Because French Chucky was pretty fucking crazy.
I was watching Bridesmaids one night, and for some reason I was flipping through the subtitles and Spanish came on. And did you check out Bridesmaids?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The scene where she's at the party and just losing her shit. All of that was like in the subtitle of Spanish, and it was just reading it was hysterical because it was, I don't know, I don't speak Spanish, but just reading it in Spanish was hilarious. Lesbiana!
She's flipping out over the cookie.
Yeah.
The big cookie.
I want to try it, that big fucking cookie. Oh, the movie's hilarious. So are there actually cases where people forget who they are with this syndrome?
I don't think permanently.
But they develop some kind of short-term amnesia?
I think so, yeah.
Weird.
Like I said, there are varying degrees of it.
Right.
I think he embellished some, but there are very extreme cases of it. I don't know if they're as extreme as they are in the movie,
Right.
but they're still pretty extreme.
Wow. Should do some research on that.
Well, there's the book that that this was based on by the French artist, or was he? No, was he Italian? I think he was Italian. I would assume
it takes place in Italy and all.
Well, yeah, there you go. I wonder if this only occurs with Italian works of art. We have I should call the Museum of Modern Art here in Philly and be like, have you ever heard of the Stendhal Syndrome? Has anybody ever passed out in the museum because I'm doing a paper?
There you go.
But Bridgette Fonda was Dario's first choice for the Anna character.
Really?
Yeah,
I could see that.
and then she dropped out, and then there was somebody else, and then he considered Jennifer Jason Leigh. So I guess he just watched Single White Female.
Right. That would have been cool.
Well, yeah, I think Jennifer Jason Leigh would have been excellent. She's great in everything.
Right.
But yeah, then there was a brief period where this was going to be an American production with Daryl Hannah.
That would have been fun.
Not the best actress. But then they couldn't get the locations that they wanted. And the museum, because Dario Argento in Italy is held in very, very, very high esteem.
Well, I would hope so.
So yeah, the museum that they filmed in, he was the only filmmaker that they allowed to shoot in there.
Really?
I think since, well, it was on IMDb. It was as of 2014. I don't know if anybody else has attempted or has been successful, but
just him since
just I think he was the first and probably the only.
wow,
So
what an honor.
yeah, I mean to be not only just, I think it would be very, very fascinating. I think it would be distracting to just be surrounded by all these beautiful works of art.
Right, and stay focused on your own project.
Stay focused. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if he had to pay them or the museum paid him for, because I mean, they're both mutually benefiting.
Oh, I don't know.
Because I mean, that couldn't have been cheap to rent out the museum for like a day or whatever, however long it was they shot in there.
I don't know what the time period was. I don't remember the CGI, but supposedly this was the first. This was the first Italian production to use CGI, and it was when CGI was in its infancy. So supposedly it's pretty bad.
It's bad. It's very bad. But I can appreciate what they were trying to do. It's when she was taking the pills in her hotel room and you see the pills going down her esophagus.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was one of them. And there's another moment where one of the paintings is melting.
Yeah, yeah. That actually looked pretty cool. It was something like out of a Tool video or something.
And I think the bullet, it must have been the bullet going through the cheek.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet, but yeah.
That was one of the, because like I said, Troma first distributed this, and the trailer for this was on a Troma VHS that I'd had, and that moment when the bullet goes through the cheek was in the trailer. That was on there.
Weird.
And I was like, I gotta see this.
Like the equivalent to a Red Band trailer.
Yeah.
I remember when the Evil Dead 2013 was coming out, I would watch the Red Band trailer over and over and over and get myself so excited for the movie.
You like that one?
I did. I really did.
We need to do a commentary for it then. Because I like it too. And that's another one that I wanted to do a commentary for.
Sweet.
Yeah, I when that one first came out, I tried to watch it, but I couldn't. I decided I didn't like it because I couldn't tell what was happening. And plus, I wasn't open to the idea of a remake of it.
Right.
And because, you know, some movies are sacrosanct, and then you have the onslaught of shitty remakes that came before it. So it's like I went in with these preconceived notions.
Right.
I didn't at first. I didn't like the idea of them going to the cabin for the one girl to
kick her addiction.
Yeah, to detox.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just irked me that they had to have a reason to go there. Because in the original, there is no reason. They're just there.
Yeah, they were just visiting, getting a weekend away.
Visiting. A weekend away, yeah. That's when they had to make.
That's kind of why, you know, I liked about it, because, you know, when she's wanting to leave, they're just like, no, we're not going to leave. We're going to stay. You know, even though all this crazy shit is starting to happen. Whereas as in the original one, you know, they're just like, all this crazy shit's happening. You have some chick freaking out. Like, oh no, we're gonna stay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You know, I don't know. I love the originals. Don't get me wrong, but for a new generation, you know, I thought, and for a new story, and they weren't trying to copy the original in what the story was. You know, like it was its own thing.
There were definite nods to the original, though.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But, you know, they were done. I thought they were done in a very fun way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they took things to another level, too.
Oh, yeah.
With the blood rain and the face slicing.
Oh, my God, I know. Oh. Yeah, that tongue gag still gets me when she slits her tongue open with the box cutter. Ooh.
Mm.
But yeah.
And a lot of it was practical effects, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Almost all of it was. Almost.
Well, you can't do a blood rain practically, I don't think.
Actually, no, they did that too. Where the drop of blood comes on her hand, I think that was CG, but it was actually like raining. They actually had red rain.
Mm.
So that was practical. The vomiting sequence was practical. Trying to remember, were there like any infection spreading scenes like in the original and the new one?
I think so.
I'm trying to remember. It's been a minute since I've seen it.
Wasn't there an infection spreading after the pencil stabbing in the original?
In the original, yes, but I'm trying to remember if there was anything like that in the 2013.
I don't remember.
I can't remember right now. I'll have to watch that soon.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's when I was first introduced to Jane Levy, and I thought she was badass.
I was see, a lot of these movies I would think were bad when I first saw them, because I couldn't tell what was going on, like what I was saying with Trick or Treat earlier.
Right.
But after I was able to get the audio described version of it, and I was actually able to follow it.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it a lot, and I was surprised at how much I liked it, and how grisly it was.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have an audio, like, is someone describing the whole? Like, I know they're describing it, but are they describing it like shot for shot or scene for scene?
Well, yes. They don't talk over the dialogue.
Okay. But do they like stop it intermittently or
no?
No.
Well, yes, yeah, I mean, like, if it's like, let's say, if there's a scene that takes place in a single bedroom and it's just between two characters,
Mm-hmm.
it'll just let them talk.
Okay.
And then it'll say, you know, John turns to leave and closes the door, and Jane is watching him go, or something like that.
Okay. Now, did they also describe like their facial expressions if it's kind of crucial or something?
Sometimes they'll say somebody looks worried,
Mm,
or they'll say they look angry or confused,
scared or what have you.
Scared, yeah.
That's cool. It's a hot doctor.
Hotter than the killer?
Yes.
I don't remember the doctor.
Yeah, he's kind of got a dirty blonde hair, a little bit of scruff, jawline for days.
Okay. I'll take an Italian doctor. I had a doctor who was an ear, nose, and throat that I thought was so hot.
Mm.
I remember once I went in the summer, and he was a younger guy. He was like in his mid to late 30s.
Ooh.
And he got really close to me because he was looking in my ear, and his shirt was unbuttoned a bit.
Oh.
I could see like some tangles of chest hair, and it wasn't like old man chest hair, you know.
Yeah.
It was just not. It wasn't like you know.
It wasn't like scraggly.
No, it wasn't scraggly. It wasn't like all like you know, a Brillo pad or anything. It was just nice, sparsely. You know.
That's hot.
Just a hint. And he had a nice tan.
How old were you?
Like 18.
Oh. You could have made a move and had yourself a doctor.
Well. So there's a lot of scenes that go on a bit long because I think they were namely for artistic purposes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really help the plot along.
Yeah, she's on the train right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's just been through something traumatic, and now she's just trying to find a way to deal with that, and like that's what drives her crazy because she can't deal.
I think it's a combination of the Stendhal Syndrome as well as the trauma.
Fair enough.
Because she's not in her right mindset because of the Stendhal Syndrome. And then she's attacked.
And then those two mental issues that just cause her to go off the deep end.
I would assume, yeah.
But this is cool when she goes into that waterfall painting. That part's awesome. I thought that was a pretty cool way of how they did that.
Here's the theme again. It's such a beautiful theme.
I know. It's like, it's such a dark movie, but the music is so beautiful. I want to go there. I have no idea where it is, but I want to go.
Isn't this where the Isn't this where his lair is? With
I
all the graffiti?
I don't recall. I don't think so, because his lair was kind of like a rundown warehouse or something, right?
I thought it was like an alley or something like that.
She's losing her mind.
But I was reading up a bit on this, and from what I was reading, a lot of people have different opinions about what is happening in a lot of these different sequences, and I think I think purposely they are open to interpretation.
Oh, of course.
Like,
No one's right or wrong. It's just how you see the situations. That's what I love about movies. Well,
this specifically is what he wanted.
mm-hmm.
That the guy who plays the killer, I forget his name, Thomas something. He's been in some Hollywood movies.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's been around. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Thomas Kretschmann. Let's see what else he's done. He still looks good.
How old is he now?
He was born in 1962, so 50s?
Almost. Yeah, almost. Wait.
No, almost 60.
Wait. Huh? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because my oldest sister was born in 68. So yeah, he's almost 60. Wow. Well, I mean, this must be an older shot, but damn, still good looking. Resident Evil Apocalypse. Oh, he was in Blade 2.
Resident Evil. Did you see that one?
Yes, all of them.
And you didn't recognize them?
Major Kane. Oh, he was that guy. I'm pretty sure. Let's see if one of his photos are from them in there. I think I know who he is, but it's hard to keep track of all the characters. Blasphemy from. But yeah, I think that was him. I think he played like the main evil bastard in the movie.
Oh, wow, that makes sense.
Yeah. And that was the best one of all the sequels.
What year did that one come out?
Apocalypse came out in 2004. Yeah, 2004. And then from, I don't know, part 3 is okay, part 4 is alright, but they just kind of get really hokey after that. Like 5, 6, and 7 are just kind of eh. You know. And then, of course, by the time part 7 comes around, it's when the country started to get all political with everything. So, yeah. It's just
Speaking
so
of which, I don't know when this is going to be posted, so let's not say specifically what it was. But something happened today that made headlines. And when I heard it, I have to say I was really, really disgusted.
Okay.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna break a bottle over your head.
I haven't been on much social media today. I'm sorry.
James.
Oh, what? Now I feel bad.
Well, a certain accused rapist of dozens and dozens of women is free on a technicality.
Oh, are you forking serious?
Unfortunately, I am.
Well, that's a pain in the ass.
And I don't want to say his name, but it rhymes with Bill Cosby.
Ah, jeez.
And I'm ashamed to say that I share the same state with him.
Ah,
He doesn't live far from right outside of Philly.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All right, I don't want to talk about him.
Yes, happy days, happy days. Sunday, Monday.
So, yeah, I was telling you before that there is a sequel to this
Uh-huh.
called The Card Player that came out in 2004, and it has a different girl in it. He did write a sequel. The Card Player is tweaked. I'm pretty sure I saw it a long time ago. I don't remember it. But it was tweaked because Asia couldn't participate. I think she was doing something else at the time that he wanted to shoot, which would have been it couldn't have been too far before that, because I think they did Phantom of the Opera together because this was 96 and then Phantom of the Opera together in 98. So he might have been trying to put the sequel together in early 2000 or somewhere around there.
Argento?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, and it had a different title. I don't remember what the title was. But they, he changed the title and he tweaked the plot a bit. And there's a different actress in the lead.
Interesting. God, Argento's had quite a career.
Mm-hmm.
Buster Keaton. So when did you first see this one?
I want to say 2001, 2002.
Interesting. What'd you think of it?
I liked it. I thought it was a bit heavy in certain places.
Mm-hmm.
But I still appreciated the intentions.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have appreciated this as much if I was in my teenage years.
I was like 20, 21, so
yeah, I was still in high school. I thought it was too cool. But
if I was in high school or grade school, there's no way I would have appreciated it because,
yeah,
aggression.
That's hot. No. Really, dude? And you're just gonna let this happen? Come on. Well, who doesn't love a reach
He
around?
actually said, "Stop it, please. Stop fucking me."
Yeah, seriously. At least get some lube.
Oh. What the fuck was I saying? Yeah. Because when I was younger, I didn't even appreciate any kind of foreign cinema. See, this is what like makes me so mad at myself, because there are people who are just like me now, in that they are fanatical about the genre, and they grew up on Argento. They grew up on
Yeah.
Fulci. They grew up on Diodato and Bava. And me, not so much.
Well, I mean, better late than never. At least you're exposing yourself to it now.
Trying to. I mean, I got the Black Cat, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
I've heard of that one. Haven't seen it.
I wanted to fuck him like a man. Oh.
So sexy.
Uh-huh.
The way that men do it. Oh. And thus they got their idea for Sex in the City.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Excuse me. Jeez, I mean, even therapy doesn't help this girl.
No.
I mean, it's almost like when she loses herself, like she kind of enjoys it a little bit.
I think, yeah. I think so. Because she's experiencing a totally different side of herself.
Mm-hmm. And when she gets the blonde wig, it's like she's fully embracing it.
Yeah, then she becomes the femme fatale.
Femme fatale. That was a good movie.
And I think I was telling you before about single weight female. In the book, Bridgette Fonda's character has short blonde hair.
Yeah.
And the roommate, instead of cutting her hair and dyeing it to look like her, she has a wig.
Right.
That is a short blonde wig. And since he was considering both Bridgette Fonda and Jennifer Jason Leigh for the role, I'd be willing to bet that he both saw the movie and read the book
Right.
around the time he was working on this.
I wouldn't be surprised. I want to read that book.
It's not that good.
Oh, is it? It's not?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's worth it if you're a fan of the movie, just to see how it differs,
Right?
Where the seed came from. But I think everything that they changed for the movie, they changed for the better. That is a movie, by the way, that Tony wants to do. So that might be something that we could all do together.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
Oh, you need to get your shit together.
I know. Like, I think I saw it passing like on Netflix or Hulu one time. I was like, oh, I should watch this, but I never did.
I saw it when, oh, God. I saw it when it first came out. I was in 6th grade.
Wow.
And I really, really liked it. And I watched it a bunch. And my teacher at the time, I don't remember he used to just do like this after school hangout thing where it would be like a few of the students, we would just like bullshit, and sometimes we would do art for the class, like on the bulletin board, things like that. Most of the time we would just talk. And I said to him, I was like, his name is Mr. Moore. It's like, Mr. Moore, have you seen Single White Female? And he nodded, and then he looked at me and he went, what are you doing watching R-rated movies? Especially a movie like that.
Right.
Which was not, I was not the demographic. Clearly.
Right.
And there's even a glimpse of penis.
I think I remember that.
Oh, how could you forget?
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of penis in movies in the early 90s. which is surprising since that was when a lot of erotic thrillers came out, but they
Right.
were all about the women.
I know. Come on, appeal to the young gay boys.
But there was that. Well, it's kind of gross, but there is that scene in the opening of Basic Instinct when the you see the guy that she killed, the first guy that she killed,
Mm.
um, and the police are investigating. You see him naked on the bed,
Hmm.
but he's all bloody and
Yeah,
you
it's
know
not hot.
it's not sexy, no. Unless you're into that kind of thing.
Hey, no judgment.
Well, I don't know. I found the killer in this to be pretty hot when he was all see, I found him to be all sexy and hot when he was all like shirtless and bloody. And there is a Masters of Horror episode with a really hot killer. I think it was Pick Me Up,
Mm.
and he had like some blood drippage going on in his chestal area,
Yum.
mandibular area.
Hmm.
And there's a movie called it's a horror comedy called The Hazing. I don't know if you've seen it.
Mm-mm.
But it's really bloody. And there's this one scene I don't remember the total extent of the scene, but I just remember that there was this really cute guy who was, I think, in the midst of doing something with his girlfriend, and I think he just got like bare chested, and then some kind of something started attacking her, and he went after it with I want to say a chainsaw, not a chainsaw, a very large power tool of some kind.
Huh.
And he is just sprayed with stage blood.
Wow.
And I just remember looking at him all bloody and shirtless and thinking, I feel really weird about being stimulated right now. But yeah, he does kind of look kind of hot.
What is happening right now? That's funny.
Well, I mean, there is a thing about straight guys being into some of the sleazier slasher movies that have lingerie clad women who get
Right.
bloody. So
Yeah, so who are they to judge?
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I used any of these things as masturbatory materials, but I did enjoy looking at them.
Yeah. There
They're
was definitely
probably
some
inspired.
there was probably some tingliness going on down there.
Oh, I don't think there was any doubt about that. This show has been getting gayer and gayer since I've been having co-hosts.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Embrace it, damn it. Oh, he's on the prowl again.
Mm. Looking all sexy.
Well, he's following the woman in the red dress. We don't see
Oh, you
him.
know what? I thought was interesting. Have you seen Tenebrae?
No.
Yeah, they were talking about it. Like I said, I went to see it because they were talking about it on a podcast that I was listening to. You just made me think of it. Because there's a woman in I think at a red dress and red high heels,
Mhm.
and in the movie who I think is the killers. I don't know. I'm probably spoiling it for people. But it turns out to be the actor was trans.
Really?
And this was 82.
Wow.
And also, there's another scene involving a gay couple.
That's cool.
So that was pretty progressive.
I'll say.
Well, probably not for Italy.
Right.
Because, you know, they're a little more open-minded than we are.
Yeah, but I mean, for cinema in general.
For cinema in general, yes, absolutely. That definitely very daring.
Yeah,
of him.
I love that. Don't do it. Don't do it. And what does she do?
She does that.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
I'm really uncomfortable with the sounds she's making.
And then a train goes by.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really uncomfortable. This is the bullet scene, right?
No, that happened earlier.
Oh. Did he suck on the gun yet?
I think so. I think we were talking through that. Oh, wait.
God.
No. Okay, no. Yeah, that was at the earlier one where he was doing the other girl in front of Anna.
In the car?
Yes, I think.
It was in a cab or something?
I think so. I don't know, we were talking through it.
Yeah, he said, the actor, he said he had to convince Dario to let him do that.
Oh, geez.
That was his idea.
Wow.
Because I think he thought it was a good accent to his character. Made him creepier.
And just that, like, he didn't give a shit where he was. He's going to do what he's going to do anywhere.
Yeah.
Ballsy.
I think, and I think that's, yeah, where Dario, I think that's what Dario intended for the character.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was, you know, accentuating it by giving it these little nuances.
That's cool that he's, like, open to suggestions like that. Like, if they think that it's going to be a good idea to do it for the character, then yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that a director like him would be, because he's definitely one of those directors who has a very specific vision.
Right.
Beforehand. So, like, I think that he knows every frame while writing the script.
Right. I believe that. I mean, just the few movies that I've now seen of his, it's just like everything looks so precise, but it's also so beautiful in the way that he does it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely
it's a traumatic beauty, but beauty nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
But there's a lot of a lot of specificity and a lot of technical areas to, I think, even the smallest detail.
Oh yeah, like nothing is done by accident. We all know this.
No, not with him.
But like when she starts painting and she's just like going further into her madness.
She said that the painting that they ended up with, that was supposed to be her painting, she like rolled around naked on the floor in some paint.
Yeah, she just did that.
Oh. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Oh. Well, you know, somebody's got to narrate for you.
I thought I was given a bit of trivia. I don't know. There are that is a fetish. They
What,
have like
painting
specific,
naked?
yeah. Well, like the rolling around and like doing stuff
Oh,
in paint. They have like I'm pretty sure they have a specific kind of non-toxic paint that you can use for your sexual proclivities if you so
interesting.
desire.
I'm gonna have to look into this.
There's a movie called Mind Twister that has a scene, like a kind of an erotic scene, with glow in the dark paint,
Huh.
and it's a really interesting visual. And I heard that the girls, the girls who were in the scene, were not comfortable with it, and so the director gave them a couple of shots of tequila.
There you go. Make it a little
And
easier.
but yeah, then it wasn't easy to get dialogue out of them after that.
2 shots of tequila, that's barely a buzz. Come on, ladies.
Oh, I don't fuck with that.
Yeah, I don't anymore. Too many nights hunched over the toilet's not my idea of a good time anymore.
What is the deal with the worm? Is it a real worm? I never understood that.
I think that's just something that they do down in Mexico. I think
Oh,
it is a real worm, just
ew,
because that's where tequila's produced, but there's
gross.
no way in hell that if I ever see a worm in my drink, I am not doing it.
You see a worm in your drink in America, you send it back.
Exactly.
You don't eat it.
Ugh, gross. And I'll try most anything once, but, swallowing a worm? No.
Have you ever been to Mexico?
No. I want to go, just because I think it'd be a fun trip, but...
Yeah, beautiful.
You been?
No,
No.
I wish. I would love to, though.
Yeah. My brother went down there for like a class trip once years ago in high school, and he said it was awesome. I mean, granted, he said he was like drunk the whole time, but he had fun.
I think I would be too paranoid the whole time about being on my best behavior. I don't want to end up in a Mexican prison.
Right. Just stay at the resort, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
And don't drink the
exactly.
water.
Don't drink the water.
I know. I want to go to Mexico just so I can do that Family Guy scene with the 2 chicks in vacation in Mexico. They just shout Mexico every other scene. Mexico. And then I'll annoy everybody at work. Just shout Mexico.
Well, that's better than Vegas, baby. I hate when people say that.
I've done Vegas.
Nah, a little too sleazy for me.
I mean, it's a trip, but been there, done that, got the t-shirt and the jacket. I rode the Stratosphere, that was a blast.
If I was a little bit quicker, I would have said, and the jock strap. But I couldn't think of it.
One time.
They have a lot of the well, they have the gay they have the AVN awards, but I think they have gay porn conventions.
Oh, that's hot. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I've seen those YouTube videos.
You can meet your favorite gay porn star in a jock strap. I know somebody who showed me a long time ago, pictures of him with John Magnum in
Really?
In a jock strap.
Wow.
I was super jealous.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this old acquaintance of mine moved out there. He wanted my nuts so bad, but he wasn't my type.
And then I thought you were going to say he did porn or something.
Yeah. No, I think he attends them though, because I see pictures on Facebook of him attending. Like, you bastard. Like, he's really not that attractive. So the fact that he gets to go, and I'm like, you punk.
Well, nothing's stopping you. Do you know the I'm sure you do, the porn star Matthew Rush?
I think so.
Um
Let me search real quick.
he's he's biracial. I think he's black and white. He's got really, really big lips. And now he's got like a bunch of tattoos. You would know him because he does bit parts and like those really low budget gay comedies like Eating Out and things like that.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
But a friend of mine who lived in Ohio lived in the same building as him.
Really?
And yeah, he just used to go out to California to shoot, but he lived primarily in Ohio.
Mm.
And he's talked to him in the hall a lot 'cause they used to walk by each other, and he said he was ridiculously stupid.
Really?
Yeah, like so stupid, like you couldn't even talk to him. Like he was mind-numbingly just
Like, just couldn't form.
on the spectrum.
Oh,
Stupid.
so pretty but dumb.
Yeah.
Well, can't win them all, I guess. Good lord. His skin.
You're seeing skin right now?
Well, just like his upper chest area.
You bitch.
Sorry.
I ain't seeing anything.
There's a little bit of musk coming off of him.
Oh.
He's a little sweaty, but not too sweaty where it's disgusting.
Oh. I like that. I like a fresh from the shower, but I also like not funk, but like, you know, they've been through their day.
Right. Where it's just that little bit of musk.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit of the natural scent starts to come out.
Yeah. Not a hardcore gym working out sweaty.
No. Well, maybe. Depends on what we're dealing with. But yeah.
God. When he put the razor blade in his hand and he starts cutting her, oh my god, that's intense.
I'm gonna kiss your bloody lips. Did he say that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
You know what the thing too about Italian movies? They have a lot of really, really good titles. Some of them are long, but they're really they're very what's the word I'm looking for? They really capture your attention.
Are you talking about in Italian or when they're translated?
No, the translations.
Ah.
There was one, I can't remember, of course. But on that podcast that I mentioned before, Unsung Horrors, that talks about a lot of obscure horror movies. They talk about a lot of Italian cinema, and there was one called like seven bloody orchids in something. I don't fucking know, but some of them are really long, but they're
but just the way that they come out, they're
they, you know what they do, they like paint a perfect picture in your head of what you're going to see. And I remember one that was particularly long, was like it was almost like a description of what was in a room. and it was something not good.
Jeez.
But yeah, and I think a good title is really what sells whatever. And that's why I hate when people are just so bland and just use a the and a noun.
Right. I mean, sometimes the can, can do fine, but yeah, like a title is like, it's a great starting point.
Yeah, you gotta have something that's going to grab the attention of the
Right?
audience.
Like if I see something or hear something, like I would need to see this movie just because it's called this, this, and this. Like 2 Days in the Valley.
I wanted to see Psycho Beach Party based on the title.
There you go.
And the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you want to see it based on that title.
Right? I mean, hell, that's why I watched Slumber Party Massacre for the first time. It's like,
And now you have a whole new appreciation for it.
Indeed. And the Sleepaway Camp movies. Like I wanted to watch those just because of the covers.
The cover for the original is so strange, but it's so compelling.
Right?
Because it's just so weird. It's like, why is there a knife stabbing through a sneaker and it's bloody? What is this?
Right?
Why
like,
what does it mean?
It just looks so fun.
It just looks good.
I remember the original Night of the Demons. That one has a frightening picture. It's just a demon like licking an eyeball. It's freaky without his big sharp teeth and his pale white skin. Ugh.
Night of the Demons.
Yeah, it's an old 80s movie.
Who do you think you're talking to?
I know better. I apologize.
You think I don't know Night of the Demons?
I know.
Are you? No. I think you're confused.
Oh, it was Night of the Demons 2. That's the cover I'm thinking of. But still.
That's the lollipop, the skeleton lollipop.
Yeah. I remember I would see that one in Blockbuster all the time.
Well, I'm going to tell you something first. There was a specific chain, I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't around here, that if you rented Night of the Demons 2 when it was a new release, they gave you one of those lollipops.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's fun.
I knew somebody who had one, and supposedly they were all cinnamony.
No.
They were really good.
I should try making something like that for Halloween.
But it's funny that you mentioned Night of the Demons because I did a solo commentary for Night of the Demons 3 last night, and it is worse than I remember it being. I always knew it was the weakest of the trilogy, and it wasn't my favorite, but
that's funny.
I didn't think it was anywhere near as bad as it ended up being. And there should be like a drinking game for that commentary where every time I say this is so dumb, you take a shot. You'll be shit-faced 20 minutes in.
Oh, jeez. Well, I can't do that. But I will do it with beer. That way I'll just be decently drunk. Alright, she's fighting him now.
Did he just say, oh my god?
Huh?
Did he just say, oh my god?
I think so. You kicked me in the balls.
She had a choice between what she wanted to do, like what kind of defense she wanted to use on him. It was either boxing or karate. So she went to learn how to box. Specifically because she was punched in the face on the street by a fan right before she did this.
Really? That's horrible.
Yeah. Fans are so like hardcore fans are so weird. It's like I love you so much, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Right? I'm gonna pull
Or
out
like
your hair.
they'll rip your hair exactly. Or rip off your clothes. Well, that I get.
But yeah, that's.
But why if you love them, why do you want to hurt them? I don't get
I know.
that.
Like, I just want to like go up and shake your hand and maybe get a selfie.
I don't even want to bother people.
Yeah.
Not that I have, moments where I've seen celebrities just walking about Philly.
Yeah.
But I remember Sharon Osbourne proudly said on the talk once that oftentimes when she's out to dinner, she'll have a fan come up to her and say, I don't want to bother you. And she'll immediately say, then don't.
Then don't, yeah.
And go back to her dinner. That's so cunty.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think that I would, like mind a celebrity's like dinner space. But like if they're out and about like at a grocery store, maybe.
Well, dinner, yes, I totally get. They want to be left alone when they're eating. But some people, I think, get it in their head that, the person's going to leave and they're going to miss their chance.
Right.
So they want to seize it while they can, and if it's somebody they really like, I mean, I get it. I mean, just as long as you're not too overbearing and you just like say, can I please just take a picture with you for 2 seconds and then leave them alone.
Yeah, like read the room. Like if they're with their, wife or their family, stay away.
Yeah. Yeah, because, especially if there's kids.
Yeah. Years ago, I took a trip to Dallas for a little bit with a friend of mine, and we were going to see Heather McDonald, perform her stand-up. And we got there early, we were in a restaurant having some dinner or having some lunch, a couple drinks, whatever. And then I see her, order something, come up to the bar and order some food to go. And then she goes to the bathroom and I look over, I was like, I think that was Heather McDonald. I really think that was her. And she was by herself and she comes out of the bathroom and goes to wait for her food, over at one of the bar tables, just, shooting the shit on her phone, not busy or anything. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to go do this. So I take a quick shot and I go up to her. I was like, sorry, are you Heather McDonald? She's like, yeah, hi, how's it going? I was like, oh my God, my friend and I are going to go see your show tonight. And so like, I call him over and then we just like, the three of us just start shooting the shit, just like, she was such a cool person. And so we were talking for at least like 5 minutes and I was like, okay, like, I'm sorry to do this, but can we please get a picture? She's like, yeah, let me just get my lip gloss on. So
was this when she was on Chelsea Lately?
I think it was around. No, I think Chelsea Lately was getting ready to end.
That was 2014.
Okay. Okay, so no, it was after Chelsea Lately. This was like 2016 or something. But yeah, she was really cool. And then went and saw her show. We sat right up front. Yeah, she was a hoot. But because she was by herself, like I was nervous at first. That's why the shot helped. But yeah, she was super cool, super nice, I still have that picture in my phone. Yeah. But had she been with like her husband and kids, I probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I think they're older now, but she's got like 3 stepsons.
Two sons and a stepdaughter. But yeah. That's just cool when you meet somebody and they're genuinely cool people. Yeah, we got wasted that night. And then we saw her again for breakfast and we waved. Yeah, she was like staying at our hotel.
Listen to that, like, attempt at making like a fucking hard-boiled American cop voice. I want that body found. It's like, what
Nope,
is this, a
not gonna
Scorsese
happen.
movie?
Roma. Oh, she's got the wig.
Mm.
She's crossing over to the dark side. And I don't know, she doesn't really have the complexion for a blonde.
No, not being a full-blooded Italian. I
No.
wouldn't think so.
It just doesn't look right. You know, maybe do any other color of the rainbow, but not blonde.
Sì. Ciao Anna, stiamo andando a parlare alla moglie di quel maiale. Avevi ragione, si chiamava proprio Alfredo. Alfredo Grossi. Ho pensato volessi venire anche tu, dato che il caso è tuo. Certo che voglio. Bene, allora ti posso
Only in an Italian movie can there be a killer named Alfredo.
Alfredo. I had a fling with a guy named Alfredo. He didn't speak any English. It was fun.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, like he understood me, but that was about it.
Well, I think he understood what you wanna.
Oh yeah. And that's pretty much all it was. It was purely physical.
I don't know if I could do that.
Well, when you're single and in your 20s, it works.
I think they would have to speak a little bit of English. Not understanding anything. I would feel, if they didn't understand me at all, I would feel like, what if I'm taking advantage of them? Because that would always be in the back of my head. What if they don't really want to do this?
Yeah.
And they just don't know how to say no.
Right. Oh, trust me, they know how to say no. But no, I mean, yeah, like, and we weren't, obviously, we didn't go into like deep conversations, but you know.
Well, of course not. You didn't have time for that.
Exactly.
I was listening to a podcast where this girl was talking about having sex with an Italian guy who was actually from Italy, in New York on vacation, and she just got an impulse and she started to choke him.
Oh my!
And he stopped her and he went, "No, I'm a normal."
Oh, that's so cute. But hey, you know, kudos for trying it. Lord. Got 3 beached whales right all around me.
Oh my god. Has Lester gotten very big?
Yeah. We try to maintain his weight. I don't think he's going to get much bigger. He's already 2.5 now. So, yeah, Marnie and Nala, I've got to get them down a couple of pounds. They're slightly overweight.
Oh no.
But that's okay. I just got to get them some more exercise and feed them a little less and maybe lay off some of the treats. But I like giving them treats.
Do you ever go running with them?
No. They're not the greatest on the leash, so. But when we do take them for walks, yeah, I do like to start out with a little run so that they can burn off the energy and then they can just focus on the rest of the walk. And also, Marnie's deaf, and she freaks out about cars. So sometimes she'll just like yowl, and she doesn't know how loud she's being, and other people just kind of give weird looks. And when she literally flips out over cars, I don't know what it is. So I'll have to get on top of her and like straddle her and just like rub her chest and make, and then she's fine. But like if I'm not doing that when a car's passing by, oh, she loses her shit. It's very sad. But when they're outside, I try to run around the yard with them so that they can get some kind of exercise.
You have a really big yard?
Not huge, but it's big enough.
You have grass and stuff?
Yes, we have grass that we mow every week. The price of living in a home.
Oh, I wouldn't know anything like that. My backyard is like a concrete cube.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Lester, you okay, puppy? Scratching his little eye.
Oh.
Alright, she's in the art shop now. And she's smashing that cute boy's hand.
Who, cashier?
No, the one at the painting thing.
Oh, that guy Marie?
Yes, yes. Yeah, Marie. I forgot his name. Yeah, he's cute. Nice butt, even through the jeans.
You're killing me.
Nah, I'm sorry. But somebody's got to tell you.
And he's French!
Oh, mais oui. He looks familiar too. I feel like I've seen him in something. Let's see. Where are you on here?
Speaking of hot French guys, I was revisiting Unfaithful the other day.
Faithful. Which one was that one?
With Diane Lane.
That's right. Yeah. I never saw it, actually. I remember when it came out. I was like, I want to watch that. I like both of those actors, but...
Yeah, I actually saw that in theaters when it first came out.
Yeah? Not much of an actor. Well, actually, scratch that. A lot of TV stuff overseas. And some short movies.
What's his name?
Criminy. Julian Lambrosini.
Julian is a total hot guy name.
Yeah. But he was a writer on a movie called Sink or Swim. Depressed man joins a synchronized swimming team made up of middle-aged men.
Oh.
That's funny. Yeah, the smaller picture is a bunch of dudes in Speedos. But middle-aged men.
Well,
when you blow it up.
Middle-aged, just like 40.
Goodness, my back.
I don't like it when people say middle-aged, but it's really later than middle-aged.
Yeah.
Because like when you're in your 60s, you're past middle-aged.
Yeah, 60s, you're over the hill.
Yeah.
Ew. That's disgusting.
Oh, I thought it was snails.
No, that's escargot.
Right. I used to know that.
Yeah. You ever had it?
No.
Yeah, me neither. But I hear it's like a buttery, salty gummy bear.
Oh.
So no thank you. And I don't think I'll be trying goose liver anytime soon either.
No. None of that. Even if it is offered me by a hot French guy.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, French dude, just take your pants down. Let's do this.
We need more Europeans over here.
Puppies.
You know how like you could be in like London and you could meet people from like France or Italy or
Yeah,
Hungary or whatever, Spain.
just all over the smorgasbord.
Yeah, here it's like, yeah, I'm from Boston. Oh, that's so boring.
Boston. God, what is it about this park that makes people do the dirty?
A park.
Yeah, they're getting it on in the bushes. There's another new couple banging up against a tree.
Well, maybe that's what it's for.
All right, well, it is Italy.
Yeah. I've heard that. It's not uncommon in Italy for people to be getting down, and not just the gays, but everybody.
Sweet. It's one big massive orgy, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
Lester.
I'm much like Lester. I feel like I'm missing out.
Okay, I think he's calmed down for a second.
What's wrong?
Oh, I think he might need to step outside, even though we just did before we started.
If you want to take him,
Well, let me see what he does. He always does that, though. He just likes to wander and not really do anything. So he's laying down again, so I think we can make it to the end. Yes, Lester, your collar is very loud. We need to get you a new tag. Yeah, our housemate got him one of those big obnoxious dog tags. That's literally like a dog army tag. And so it's just massively loud, whereas the girls, they have these cute little ones.
you don't do the harness.
When we take them for a walk or to the vet, yeah. But no, for just around the house, we just have them in a collar. Dogs look naked without a collar. You know, even when we give them a bath, they look weird without their collars.
Too bad the guy dubbing him is terrible.
Talking about as an acting?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder well, it probably sounds very sexy in his natural speaking voice, but I wonder if he's speaking in Italian or if he's speaking French. All this freaky art looking down at you? What?
He's got a nice smile. Dimples for days.
The French. Well, the Europeans in general.
Yeah. I love
the
that. I love the
Australians.
English accent.
I'm starting to like any accent that's not American. Like, I want something exotic.
From some faraway land.
Yeah.
Like Scotland.
I could get down with that.
Yeah, the Scottish accent is so sexy. I don't know what it is. Marco, get your butt in there. Give me the phone. Give me the phone. Hello.
The hell is that music?
What music?
What are they watching?
Oh, he was watching something on TV in the living room or something.
Metteremo sotto controllo il tuo telefono. Da subito, sta tranquilla. Che cosa ha detto? Ha detto... Anna, che cosa ti ha detto? Che sa che sono stata con Maria. E chi è questa Maria?
Who names the dude Marie?
Maria.
It's French.
Well, I know, but it's still a girl's name.
Un ragazzo francese.
I don't care how you roll the R, it's still Marie.
Che lui sa che
How dare you?
abbiamo fatto l'amore. Ed è molto geloso. Ha detto che gliela farà pagare cara.
Yeah, you can tell me that.
Non è il suo
I know that there are plenty of plenty of boys named Kelly, you know, but Kelly is still a girl's name.
My ex, his father, and his brother, Kelly.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
No, I don't like it either.
Like Kelly. It's a girl's name. Leslie is a girl's name.
Sì, Marie Bale, per favore.
But no judgment. Name your kids as you will.
Di chiamarmi a casa non appena può. Ok, grazie.
The days of cordless phones, answering machines.
Nowadays, it's voicemail.
And nobody even leaves your voicemail.
Right? I hate that. I think on mine...
Nobody even fucking calls.
I think on mine, I even say, like, if it's important, leave me a message and I'll call you back. Like, but nope. Like, all right, I guess it's not important. Although I love the ones that say, like, you'll get a response if you text me.
Ugh, that's so hipster.
I know. I called a lady earlier today that had that on her voicemail. I'm like, I don't even know what to say to you.
You'll get a better response. I'm like, I'd rather not contact you at all.
I know, right? Like, I'm not going to text you. I'm not going to have you know my phone number. And this was like one of the bitchier clients that we have.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there's no way in hell I'm going to text her. Oh, but we did have the pleasure of completely banning somebody today, so that was fun.
Oh. Tell.
Well, apparently she had been going there for like 4 years, but a lot of times she would just pull a no-call, no-show. And if you do that, like the policy is to charge you if you don't contact them to cancel or reschedule. And so she would do it a lot the day of her appointment. So, and then there, one of the owners it was her client, and she was just like, you know what, I'm done. Like, she's done this too many times. We're losing a lot of money because they've been letting her slide for so long. And she's just like, no, we're done. And she texted her and, told her that she's no longer welcome there. She's sorry for her situation at home, but if you can't make a simple haircut appointment, at least one time, just don't bother. So we have it to where she can't even book online with the salon anymore. So she's been given like every chance in the book.
I thought you were going to tell me that she threw a hissy at the salon or something.
Oh no, but I'm waiting for that. because apparently like she's like really bitchy, and the owners didn't like her, and my manager didn't like her, and I even said to my manager, and I was like, oh, I still haven't met her, and she's like, you're lucky. And I was like, oh, she's that bad, huh? They're like, yeah, she is. She's a total cunt.
Oh,
And like these are, you know, strong, tough women, so they don't throw cunt around lightly. Like if someone's being a cunt, they genuinely mean it.
Abbiamo finito. Dammi solo pochi minuti.
And I hate calling a woman that too.
Devo rimettere
I think that's like one of the ugliest things you could call a woman, but if she deserves it, she deserves it.
Va bene. Allora ti aspetto giù.
Oh,
Niente.
you're all right, puppy.
È solo che... È solo che...
See, I don't get why she couldn't just go in and wait there with him while he was finishing up.
Ok, a tra poco.
I don't know.
A bientôt.
A tutta l'heure.
You know, like, hey, fellow artist, this is my new girlfriend. Isn't she hot?
Devi smettere. Che mi raggiungerai non appena hai finito.
Sì, raggiungo in corsa.
God, he's so cute.
Cute and French. God damn it.
Arrgh. Sorry, Brandon.
Even Lester's upset.
It's all right, puppy. Now, what was his job at the museum again?
I have no idea.
He was like was he curating or was he studying? Or
I would
was he...
assume. Well, I think he's a student.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's a student.
All right. Oh, the whispering's creepy. Have you ever been overseas, Brandon?
No. I've never been anywhere.
Yeah, I've seen the country, but I've never been overseas, unfortunately.
C'è qualcuno?
Excuse me.
If you keep muting it, that is more distracting than his whining.
Sorry.
Just play with his ears or something.
Lester, come here.
Show him some attention and maybe
Professore?
he'll be quiet.
Professore?
Come
What
here,
color is
puppy.
he?
C'è qualcuno lì dentro?
Who? Lester?
Mm-hmm.
He's mostly white, but he's got a black mask with some black spots on his body.
How long are what color are his ears?
Black.
Oh. And they're all long and floppy.
Not too long, but yeah, they're longer and floppy.
Oh.
Come here, Lester. You're alright, puppy. Don't worry.
Cosa devo fare? Devo chiudere le porte? Ma c'è un cadavere lì dentro.
Oh no!
Dove vai? Ferma! Ferma!
Oh.
Fermatevi!
Oh.
Lasciatela!
Aw.
Overact much?
Mari... Amore...
I want to see if I can like see a pulse in his neck or something.
She said my baby? She was calling him my baby? What happened to him?
Shot in the head.
Oh no. What a waste.
I know. He was cute, he was French, he had good hair.
And a good ass, apparently.
Sadly, you don't get a full shot of it, but it looked good through the jeans when he was bending over.
Oh, he was bending over. You're killing me. It's like dangling a carrot. And no, the symbolism is not lost on me.
Well, I don't mean to. You know, I just gotta let you know what's happening.
I don't know. Sometimes I think I'd be better off not knowing.
I
Then I
don't
get
know.
mad. Then I get mad because it's like, no, I can't. There's beautiful Frenchness.
Okay, he was hideous. He's very ugly.
The French actor in Unfaithful, very easy on the eyes.
Really?
Yeah. Olivier Martinez. He was married to Halle Berry.
Really?
Yeah. Remember that they had a very, very acrimonious divorce. She is supposedly a nightmare.
I could see that.
She put that poor guy through hell.
Oh, Michelle Monaghan's in it. That's cool.
Who is she?
She is. I'm trying to think of.
Probably one of her friends. There's a scene with Diane Lane's character. She goes out to lunch with her friends.
Yeah, probably. She was in Gone Baby Gone. She was in what was that movie or that show? The Path on Hulu. It's about it's basically about a cult.
Oh.
But not like in a dark way. What else was she in? She was in Pixels. Let's see. Oh, Mission Impossible 3. She played Tom Cruise's girlfriend.
I'm proud to say I've never seen any
good.
of the Mission Impossible movies.
Good for you. They get really hokey as they go on, but damn it, I can't help myself.
I honestly think the last Tom Cruise movie that I saw from beginning
let me
to
guess.
end.
Jerry Maguire.
Yes!
Oh Lord, that's funny.
And it wasn't because I wanted to see it
Yeah.
either. I went with my sister because she wanted to see it.
Well, you get to see his butt, so that's nice. It was probably a stunt butt.
I don't even remember.
nonetheless.
Yeah, I would assume. And yeah, no, he never did anything for me remotely.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, he's got a nice smile. I'll say that, but that's about it.
Right. I mean, I enjoy making fun of him, really.
I mean, I wouldn't even if he wasn't batshit crazy. I mean, before I knew he was batshit crazy, he didn't do anything for me.
Right.
I mean, if that scene in All the Right Moves didn't do anything for me, then
right,
something's not right.
Yeah, he was like the hot shit in Hollywood for the longest time. But nah, there is many more attractive actors than him. And he's been typecasted to no other now, so I mean, it's nah. See, when I watched this the first time and she's talking with the psychiatrist again, I thought it was him.
Who, the killer or the...
Yeah,
or
the killer. Just the way that this scene is, like the intensity that he's speaking to her, and just, yeah. was like, oh, okay.
Sa che cosa?
That was a good twist.
Ogni maledetta cosa.
Oh, he's sleeping now. Oh,
Mm.
jeez.
Come posso
Aw, I might have to get him some Benadryl.
He's snoring.
Yeah. See, he's fine. God, I really wish we had a puppy door.
Oh no.
Oh, Lester, come here. Come on. You were just sleeping. Come here. Come here.
Yet a nightmare.
I know. Come here, puppy. You're okay. You're alright. Come on.
Speaking of which, I guess I must have forgot, but I was looking through the French because I extracted a lot of them, the MP3s, and I put them on an iPod.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going through some because I always change stuff on my iPod. I like put different movies and like take off the audio described ones, and some of the regular ones. I just listen to the audio. But what the fuck was I saying? Oh, yeah, they in the Nightmare on Elm Street Blu-ray set. There are French dubs for all of them except for part 4, which is my favorite sequel,
Ah.
and Freddy's Dead.
Huh. Interesting.
So I had to order a very specific DVD for part 4.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know where it's from. But it has the French audio. I was trying to find a French one that has French audio for Freddy's Dead earlier, but I couldn't.
No luck.
No.
Well, that sucks.
Sapevamo benissimo che Alfredo era morto e che non è stato lui a uccidere.
And I really, if I find Slumber Party Massacre 3 in French, that will be the holy grail.
You should study some French.
I have been recently. And because I was listening to Skinner earlier, and I was glad that some of the stuff was coming back to me. But I was not happy with myself because when she was having an exchange with Marie earlier, they were doing a little French back and forth, and he said tout à l'heure, which is remedial French, and I can't remember what it means.
Ah.
So stupid.
There you go, puppy. Stretch it out. Land. Oh, careful.
Oh my god, did he break glass?
No, he just scared himself with the trash can.
What, was there a mirror on it? Why was he scared of the trash can?
He, like, twitched and knocked his head, and then that freaked him out even more.
Oh my god, he's a mess.
Yeah, but he's my little mess. Well. He looks up to me most.
You're his favorite daddy.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm the strict disciplinarian. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna be with my actual kids. Oh, she's putting on the lipstick.
Mm.
You're okay, puppies. Yes, Lester. Nala.
Now, whose building is this?
I think it's hers.
Why is she? Oh, I thought she was ringing the buzzer.
No, Marco.
There's somebody outside.
Yeah, I think he was on the phone with her, and then yeah, he was worried about her.
I wouldn't have said I was in the bathroom. I would have said I was in the shower.
Right?
He said I called you over and over again, and she said I was in the bathroom. That doesn't sound too good.
I have explosive diarrhea, Marco. Give me a moment.
Oh. The fuck? I don't even know what's happening. And I don't think Lester does either.
Psychiatrist is dead. Slit throat and there's blood everywhere. Marco saw it and walked in. And she's still insisting that it was Alfredo.
I thought Marco was the psychiatrist.
No, the psychiatrist was the old dude.
Well, who the fuck is Marco?
Her old partner.
Oh.
Slash former love interest, I guess. I know.
Io non posso crederci. Puoi credere cosa? Quello che hai detto. Che il dottore era venuto qui per violentarti e che ha anche ucciso marito. Che cosa credi? Anna, io credo che tu non stia in te in questo momento.
Oh, yeah, that's what you want to say to a crazy person.
Yeah, I know.
Questa è la verità. È sicuramente lui, Anna. Può essere Alfredo. Come fai a dire questo? Perché io so dov'è. E dov'è? Lui è dentro di me. Io
He's
sono
inside of
diventata
me.
lui. Come una febbre, una malattia.
Wasn't that another movie?
Ogni giorno diventava più forte. La sua presenza dentro. Perché non l'hai mai capito?
Where the killer was inside the person?
Well, the person claims that the killer's inside of them.
Prima che lo uccidessi.
I'm trying to think of it.
Like a split personality type thing, probably.
Kind of, but it's not psycho.
Dentro di me.
I don't know. I'll think of it later.
You sure you're not confusing The Shining, the little boy who lived in Danny's mouth?
Mi devi aiutare.
No.
Perché non si
I
fermerà.
don't know.
Mi controlla, sai, Marco.
Isn't it so funny that the little boy who played Danny is a college professor?
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Good for him.
Yeah, I don't think he ever did any acting after that.
I don't think so.
Adesso è meglio se vieni via con me.
I mean, good for him. He was able to keep his sanity.
Tranquillo.
Child actors go through hell.
Sono io.
Yeah. Well, there's an actor from Slumber Party Massacre 2 who became a teacher
That's cool.
after his acting. I think a high school teacher after he failed as an actor. And
Didn't Miko Hughes go into academia?
no, he became a DJ.
Oh, really? That's random. Who? I don't know. Who was a child actor that I thought went into academics? I don't know. It's late. It's not important.
No, if you see Miko Hughes in interviews, he doesn't really seem very smart.
Ah, poor kid. Oh, but that end of Pet Cemetery. No fair.
I would still like to know how they made him fall backward. Or if that was just like that was real and they just kept it in the movie.
Maybe.
Because he looked like he was drunk.
Yeah,
fell.
like that might have been like a legit fall.
È qui dentro.
No. All I do know is that I still cannot watch that movie. I only saw it the once and never again.
Well, Pet Cemetery traumatized a lot of people.
Yeah, me being one of them. I think I was like 8 when I saw it. Not exactly something an 8-year-old should be watching. Or maybe I was-
Very, very dark movie.
maybe I
And you
was
know
7. I don't know. I was young.
You know what pisses me off? People think that it doesn't hold up.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Jeez.
I think it holds up very well.
Yeah, like that's one that
I still think it's
stays with
very
you.
effective.
Oh yeah. Like,
Did you see the remake?
Oh yeah, it was terrible. It was.
How was the new Zelda?
You know, they. Okay, do you remember how like kind of not prominent, but like when she was like talking about it all, like it was something very traumatic, and they really relished in that. In the original, they barely give that little side plot any substance. It's literally all
So you
like,
they don't have like the scene where Rachel is talking about feeding
No.
her.
No, I mean they have a little bit, but they don't go into like a full-on flashback, you know. And then so like when later on in the movie, like they do like a little hallucination where she comes down in like a dumbwaiter inside Rachel's house.
Oh god.
It's not effective, and it's so CG that it's dumb, you know. And there's, you know, and I can appreciate them like changing changing it to the little girl that gets killed, you know, but it's so long and drawn out. Like when she first comes back into the house, the what's his name, the dad,
Lewis.
Yes. When Lewis is like going through the house, like searching for her, you literally spend like 7 minutes of nothing. He's just going through the house looking for her, you know. And I'm all for, you know, story-driven movies, but that was just so boring. Like, we do not need to go with this character into every fucking room of the house, you know. And just, and I love John Lithgow, but he couldn't save that movie, you know. And he did a pretty good job, you know. When she slits his Achilles tendon open, that part's pretty brutal, but just everything else about it is boring. It is a boring ass movie. Yeah. And I went in like expecting to get re-traumatized, but nah. It was just dumb.
I listened to the audio described version, and I really don't. It really didn't make an impression on me like at all. Like I can't
No.
even remember any scenes.
Yeah, like it didn't. No, it was just one of those that did not need to be made. Well, that was the Stendhal Syndrome. She goes crazy and then spends the rest of her days locked in an asylum.
Mm-hmm.
Poor thing.
And the poor, beautiful Frenchman is dead.
I know. Don't worry, Lester. We'll go out here in a few minutes.
That's how beautiful this music is.
I know. I love it. Like, it's just so unnerving. It works for this movie.
It's very dark, but it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
There are certain scores for movies that just get you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely one that, I don't know, like you would hear in your nightmares or something.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Lester, come here. Well, sorry everybody for the talking dogs and the finger snapping. But, you know, you gotta keep them in line somehow.
You need to take a page from Tony's book. When we're recording, he goes into another part of the house. They have... I'd never heard of this before. It's totally an Australian thing. But apparently in Australia, they have... It's customary to have sort of like a little guest house specifically for your parents to visit.
Right. That's cool.
And it's literally called like a grandma house or something like that, he told me.
Wow. I would love that, but
yeah, that's where he goes when he records. And his two little labs, they sit and they wait for him.
Aw. Yeah, I mean, I tried to, record alone, but they just kept Andrew awake all night, and he gets up at the butt crack of dawn, so I gotta have him in with me. And I apologize for the bone gnawing that's happening right now, but...
Well, the movie's over.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he would let them in, but he has a different kind of problem. I don't know if you would want his problem, but what his doggies do is they jump all over him all the time and give him kisses.
Yeah.
They don't bark, but they're just always jumping all over him.
So it's very distracting for him.
Yeah.
I mean, in all the times that we've been recording, like, this is the worst that Lester's ever been. So, I mean, that's kind of...
Well, there's also been Nala.
Yeah. She snores.
She was really loud at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
But her manly snoring is endearing somehow.
Oh my goodness.
She sounds like a grown man.
Oh, you take after your daddy, don't you? Oh, well.
And what about Marnie? Does she snore like that?
Sometimes. No, actually, Marnie, she kind of does this like whimpering, moaning thing, and she takes after me that way because I do that in my sleep.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have very active dreams.
So do I. Do you remember your dreams a lot?
For the most part. I think a couple nights ago, I actually had a nightmare that Michael Myers was chasing me around a hospital.
Oh.
So yeah, I should stop reading horror before bed.
What were you reading? A Halloween 2 novelization?
Yes. No, I was reading Dracula. I don't know why it brought on Michael Myers dreams, but it did.
I don't remember what it was. I think I recorded something with Tony. Or... No, it was something that we talked about when you and me, when we recorded the Slumber Party Massacre commentary. I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, I dreamt about it. And it was a weird dream. But I think I'll be having some weird dreams of the Stendhal Syndrome.
Ah, you're going to be going into paintings.
Well, I kind of just hope that I have doing dreams about doing weird things with attractive Frenchmen. Or attractive Italian men.
Or you might be making out with a fish. Who knows?
Okay. All right. That's where we draw the line. Can't deal with the fishy smell.
That's funny.
I love that episode of The Simpsons when they were talking about Troy McClure. And Homer says those weird things he does down at the aquarium.
What? I don't remember that one.
Yeah, they were like trying to do a take on the urban legend about Richard Gere putting the gerbil up his ass. So they made like Troy McClure be fetishistic with fish.
Oh Lord.
And Marge said, was trying to, that's just an urban myth. People really don't do those kinds of things with fish.
Or do they?
I don't want to know.
Yeah, me neither. Some things are best left unknown.
I don't want to know. But that was the Stendhal Syndrome. And, I tried very hard to be prepared for this one. I did do my research. I did go over the plot summary, but I just kept getting lost because it's such a visual film.
It really is.
And
it really is.
I really think that my commentary was lacking.
Do you have this one for audio description?
No.
So everything sound-wise, you're having to go from memory?
Well, I only saw it the one time.
So even that's difficult to
20
do.
20 years ago. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this wasn't one that I watched over and over again. Mm-hmm. This was one that I remember watching, and there were moments that definitely stuck out, in particular the hot killer. But it definitely wasn't one that I had memorized. Like, I could go toe to toe with the Chucky movies.
Right.
I know exactly what's happening when, because those I grew up on. But I think it'll be interesting to unravel some of the mystery behind Cult for me, because a lot of what was going on I couldn't pick up on.
Right. Yeah, I need to rewatch that one again.
The Audio Vault, where I get the audio described MP3s, they have like 3 different versions, audio described versions of Child's Play 1 through 3.
Really?
Yeah, I only downloaded one of them. I think because sometimes what they'll do is they will have an American narration or an English narration.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they'll put both depending on what the movie is and or how popular it is.
Yeah.
And also a lot of people just donate stuff to the website.
That's cool.
Because there is in the UK, I think it's a law, actually. I remember reading this a while ago where they're mandated to have a certain percentage of programming be audio described for the blind.
Interesting.
Here, not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a way. I think there's a way, obviously with your cable, turn it on and off. But yeah, so people are able to record it and they upload the files to Audio Vault. So some of the stuff, it's like really out of left field. It's like, where the hell? Yeah, so like when people get the really obscure stuff, that's when I get all happy. But everything from Netflix, because all their stuff for the most part is audio described. Everything from Netflix gets uploaded. Everything from Hulu gets uploaded. Disney Plus, Apple TV, all that stuff gets uploaded.
That's really cool.
Yes and no. Because some of the stuff I really couldn't give a shit about. I'm looking forward rather to the second season of The Morning Show, though. That was a really good show.
Haven't watched it.
It was on Apple TV.
Yeah, I have a free subscription for that for a year that came with my phone. Should try and get in on some stuff there.
Well, I would wait until September because that's when the second season is supposed to start.
Well, all right then.
Okay.
All right, we are hitting the 2.5 hour mark.
Yeah, so we got to wrap it up because I don't even think we have any listeners left. So, as always, I want to thank you, James, for hanging in there with me and contributing.
Anytime, my friend. Anytime.
It's always fun to have you. And and I want to thank everybody for listening to the bitter end. And until next time, this is Brandon Ford wishing you all unpleasant dreams.